literally, when there's snow on the ground on the Poconos, if you were to take a drone and fly it through Jim Thorpe, it looks like the back roads of Switzerland, or even Switzerland aside, European country. Like, it looks like a European country.
Lights, camera, action. Welcome to Pocono Mountains Podcast, everyone. It's Season 4, Episode 17. I'm your host, Jim Hamill. Hollywood is known as the film capital of the world, yet the Poconos has a lot to offer in providing a backdrop for movies, commercial productions, and more. In fact, being that I'm a Honesdale kid, I know of several big movies filmed here over the years with stars like Paul Rudd, Ryan Gosling, Elizabeth Banks, Michelle Williams, Amy Poehler, and more. Now, there's a film office dedicated to growing the industry in the Poconos, aptly named the Poconos Film Office. Announced a couple weeks ago at Pocono Raceway during NASCAR weekend, the film office, along with a sports, entertainment, and film commission, will help leverage resources that are already here in the Poconos for the big screen, the big sporting events, and the main stage. More on that in a bit. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, with 2,400 square miles of rivers, forests, mountains, and lakes. With iconic family resorts and historic downtowns, it's the perfect getaway. You can always find out more on PoconoMountains.com or watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7. Now, back to the episode. Ralph Lucchese has been in the film industry for a while now and is based right here in the Poconos. Recently, the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau and partners at Poconos Park and Pocono Raceway joined forces with Ralph to start the Poconos Film Office. And Ralph has a wealth of optimism about how the region can play host to everything from indie films to major motion pictures. I chatted with him recently for the podcast. Enjoy. Hi, everyone. It's Jim Hamill with Pocono Mountains Podcast, sitting here in my office. And this is a space where I get to do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work while I get this beautiful view of Lake Wallenpaupack. But I'm joined in the office today by a guy who knows a lot about, scenes and, filmography and various things that would really help promote the Poconos, not just as a destination, but as a place to have economic development through filming, through major motion pictures, hopefully. And his name is Ralph Lucchese. I got that pronunciation right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Thanks for joining us here on the podcast, man. You are heading up the Poconos Film Office and this film commission as well, and Sports and Entertainment Commission. These things are just newly formed. But for a long time, tell me, the Poconos has had some background in film, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People have been filming here. I want to say more hush-hush they've been filming here, like movies like Blue Valentine and the stuff that come in here. You don't really get to hear a lot about it. I'm not sure why. I've lived in the Poconos my whole life. Went to school at Pleasant Valley. So
okay.
I've been here my whole life. And you just don't hear it. And that's kind of what sparked this film office thing. Plus, I'm tired of going back to LA, back and forth. I have a kid on the way. I have a wife now. What was good for Ralph Lucchese at one point in life, you can't be as selfish anymore. So you got to try to find ways to compromise. So essentially starting this to incentivize films and bring these motion pictures here does a multitude of things. One, I don't have to leave. I'd rather drive an hour and a half to go to a film location or things like that than a 6-hour plane ride and a bus. But then two, it just adds value to the community as a whole, because there are people in this community that are doing what I'm doing, that are going to New York, that are going to Atlanta, that are going to LA once, twice a month, that are also, I believe, tired of it. And to give these people an opportunity to stay home and work and do the things that they love doing here in their backyard, it's almost like a no-brainer. And we are a 4-season destination, so whether or not it's something that you want set in a winter scene, a fall scene with foliage, height of summer season here on the lake, there's a lot of different locations. You've been working with Pocono Raceway, various other attractions throughout the area to kind of set up this appeal to filmmakers, to anybody in a commercial production standpoint, to say, hey, you can come here and you can have this beautiful backdrop for what you're trying to produce, or this really unique setting as well too, because we have so much diversity here in the Poconos, right? Oh yeah. And to kind of like piggyback on the location thing, right? Like, I come from the independent film world, so you're used to working within these minuscule budgets, and you're just used to working with like, oh, well, what does this location have to offer? Well, if we can film 7 or 8 scenes at this one location and knock out 8 pages of a script, and find a way to consolidate the budget and things like that, like all these creative producing aspects that go into it. And those places they're scattered around the Poconos, and it took me joining the military, leaving the Poconos, living in all these other places just to realize, we can do this stuff here. Why can't we do it there?
Well, and one of those spots that is like internationally known is the little Switzerland of America.
Yeah, and Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe, man. Like, talk about like the architecture and the beautiful winding streets and, quaintness of that town. And it's right on the Lehigh River and has a train. So like there are various things that evokes, right? From like a storytelling standpoint, we do it all the time to promote tourism, but also you could shoot something there that would be really, I think, a feast for the eyes, right?
Yeah, and especially like you said it, like Switzerland, like literally when there's snow on the ground of the Poconos, if you were to take a drone and fly it through Jim Thorpe, outside of the mountainous landscape of Switzerland or the Swiss Alps, right? But it looks like the back roads of Switzerland, or even Switzerland aside, European country. Yeah. Like it looks like a European country. So there's just certain areas that can be utilized to mimic that. And instead of sending crews and camera teams and cast and everything overseas, with the tax incentives that are in place for Pennsylvania and the local partnerships that we now have in place, and they're still continuing to grow, the people that want the film to come here, again, I keep saying the term no-brainer, but it is almost a no-brainer because
2 hours from the city.
2 hours from the city. Yeah. You got the lodging, the accommodations are there. If you're here, I'm going to use winter because that's kind of where the Swiss Alps is, right. But utilizing it between a 30-minute drive to major ski resorts. So on the weekends when the crew has nothing to do, there's just so much stuff. Indoor water parks, like, hey, sure, you can go down to Florida and go to Disneyland, but you're not getting snow down there. What are you going to do? CGI snow over there? The budgets are there for it, but why not have the real thing and utilize the place here? And those are the kind of conversations I'm working to have with these producers and even like the studios. Am I sitting here saying we're going to bring a $200 million film to the Poconos? Not right now. Like it just now it's not. Yeah. But it's possible in the next 5, 10, 15 years, just building the ground, laying the groundwork and the foundation here so that it can happen here, like every other city in America is doing. Like Atlanta, look what they did down there. Yeah. How incredible that's the thriving film industry down there. People are filming more there than they are in LA. Yeah. So just New Mexico, listen, probably going to get shit for this because my language, I hope it's
good. We could beep you if we need to.
Okay, perfect. If New Mexico can have a film office, right? Yeah. There's zero reason why the Poconos can't have a thriving film community, but on top of the film office.
Exactly.
There's no reason it can't. So again, kind of building it off of that and piggybacking off of, I don't want to say other people's success, but if they can do it, why can't we do it? And just having that discourse with people is going a long way now. So
you mentioned the partners too, and I know that we're all familiar from the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau standpoint. We've been a pretty big backer in this effort for the Poconos Film Office, but also too Poconos Park, John Oaks, and of course Ben May at Pocono Raceway too. And that's kind of facilitating like the partnerships that can grow over time, right? So all of these players are full in behind this thing right now, and you're excited probably to see where it's going to go because we have so many more partners to gain in all this, right?
So much to gain, and to kind of comment on that, if you put John Oaks, Ben May, Chris Barrett, and I'm going to throw myself in this conversation, put us 4 in a room, there's a lot that could come out of it. And I'm not trying to gloat. It's not an egotistical thing to say. It's just, people don't build business in the Poconos or attempt to build business in the Poconos without believing that there's something that can happen there. So when you have the John Oaks with the music industry buying Poconos Park and the amphitheater and building that thing from the ground up, his own ownership, doing what he believes that there can be a music industry in the Poconos, not just for an event aspect, but just a thriving industry that would drive people to come here. Ben May and the Pocono Raceway have been around for how many years, and the staple that the Raceway has been here. So and Chris just taking the Visitors Bureau and turning it into what it is today. Like there's just so much positivity in this area from all aspects of it.
And we might have our own TV network.
And we might have our own
if you haven't noticed.
It's PTN, but that's also stemming from the Visitors Bureau. Right. Like just there's a lot of these key stakeholders that have true impact in the community that are behind it and believe it. And it's one of those things. And me, I'm just a guy here that produces and picks up a camera and does his own thing,
right,
with dreams and aspirations. But when you put everybody in a room together that have the same mentality, if I'm the guy that has to carry it out and do the 80-hour, 90-hour weeks backbreaking work, then it is what it is.
Right.
I hope that, you know what I mean? And I hope that relays correctly in the podcast. Like, just, if I have to put all that backbreaking work to lay the foundation down, then so be it. Because the end goal of what this is going to be is so positive, so that the kid that goes to Stroudsburg, that's a junior in high school, that is somewhat afraid to leave their parents or family behind because they have to go to LA film school like I did, like things like that, leaving their family behind, missing the birthdays, the graduations, the parties, only to realize, hey, dude, I can make this happen here in the Poconos because there is a thriving industry here.
Yeah.
Again, it's a no-brainer. So it's providing opportunity. But yeah, if you put those 4 people in a room together, the stuff that could come out of it is pretty substantial. So
it certainly is. And you have this background too, right? So you've spent a lot of years in the industry. Tell me what the process is, how it will work. How do you kind of see this rolling out as, like, what your efforts will be, or what people can really, who might hear this, if they want to get involved or kind of share information with you, or even their time and talents,
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll kind of break it into parts, right? Because even though it's a simple question, it is kind of a loaded question because there's a lot of facets, right? So let's see. So from my experience in the industry, everybody has a common goal when you're working on a film set, and it's to create the best possible project, whether you're a PA, whether you're a camera assistant, all the way up to the producer. So it's every single position from the ground up. So that's that from there. The experiences that I have had, even working on the TV shows that I worked on in LA, just being around it, and you're around the best of the best. I think that's something to be said. By working with people that all have a common goal, that are the best at their craft of what they do, it's just, there's such a, I'm trying to find the word, and it'll come to me randomly, but there's just something about, to me, it's sexy. I think that's sexy, right? Yeah. Working together, people that love doing what they're doing. Yeah, that 16 hours, 18-hour days might be tough, but then they go home and they wake up and do it again, right? So even though they might bitch, moan, and complain about it, there's something about it that's sexy. So that's from the film production side. From the film office side, and we've been getting inquiries all the time about this, ever since we even initially launched. And I will say this, we're not an agency, we're not an acting agency, we're not a talent agency. That doesn't mean that the businesses, that we need one here, right? If I have to go and start an acting agency, okay. But I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? Yeah. But the purpose of the film office, and where we kind of separate ourselves from all the other film offices, sure, the tax credits and things like that, the way to navigate the system and things like that. But there's other people out there that know how to do it better than anybody else could. So why not utilize them? The film office as a resource to just pick up the phone and go, hey, we're thinking about bringing a film here, but we don't know what to expect. And putting that comfort into a producer or a studio to go, well, what are you looking for? And they go, we have 10 locations. And sometimes you get these locations lists, and it's like Interesting Place 1 and Lake 2. Yeah. And you're like, okay, so you can't just put up a random pond somewhere and go, hey, here's one location. No, like, as much as it says that, right, they're producing these things, the director's got to see it and visualize the scene there. All these things unfold into it. What we're hoping to do from a film office side is go, here's everything that you could possibly imagine that you would need, more than you would even expect. You want a lake. Well, here's 10. And better yet, not only is there a lake, here's this accommodation that we have in a partnership already with that wants your film to come here and utilize this area there. We'll board your crew. Oh, by the way, you need a luxury hotel? We have this that's being built. We also have this area here to put A-list talent there. Just having the conversations, not speaking for a producer or speaking for a studio, but working in tandem with them, so that when I'm trying to eliminate no. What's the reason why you don't want to come here? So that if it's the only answer is, well, we just don't want to, I can at least wipe my hands and go, okay, well, I can live with that answer, right? Like, you just don't want to do that. Cool. but anybody else would see that and go, yeah, why wouldn't we do that? That's the shift in the conversation I'm trying to put out there. I hope that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Again, I'm very passionate about it. I truly passionate about it because I do think that it's a realistic thing, which is why I'm putting so much time and effort into it. But just again, it all falls back on opportunity and to give people the Poconos an opportunity to see what it's like. And then maybe they go, you know what, maybe film isn't for me. At least give them the opportunity so they don't have to leave their families behind and do it to go, I really like this, but I only get to go home once a year because I'm working so much and it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. I don't get to see my family that much. There's a part of that I really want to, I don't know, I want to help that problem. I think that's a problem that needs solving. And if I can help eliminate that problem, that's something that I'm really, really focused and keen on doing.
So going back to the scouting locations, right? Like we even had, a similar production company reach out, to both you and our organization for something that was like a needle in a haystack.
Right. I think the drawbridge, the lake,
the bridge,
the two creek.
Yeah, there was some kind of gunfight that breaks out on both sides. So they needed to have that ample space on both sides. And of course, now you're just probably going to like Google Maps or what have you to kind of like track that down. But then you're also now building these relationships too, where you can lean on various players in the Poconos who might just automatically know, hey, I've traveled past that, on the way to, in-laws or whatever, so there is a lot of that opportunity that exists there to now scout those locations. And when somebody comes to the Poconos film office and just says, I need this, and you're like, well, guess what? You're in luck.
And you were part of the conversations. You saw how initially it was, all right, here's 5 or 6 locations, Delaware Water Gap, here's this. And you saw how particular they were. Like, no, too big. We need this. That's not it. And then you saw how in depth it goes. Again, people think it's like, oh, you need a lake, here's the lake. Right. But if I wanted to film at any lake, again, I would stay in LA and film in a lake in LA because they are there and the crew is there. What about this lake or about this, in this instance, what about this drawbridge with a creek and a dirt road and a road are on the side of it? I can't tell you because I'm not directing the scene, but we have that and it's working.
Yeah.
Oh, this is exactly what it is. Even if they choose not to utilize it, that location manager, you got to think of it this way, right? There's probably 10, 15 location scouts on a show. Absolutely. Even for a movie, like even for them, sure, they might not utilize it right now, but in 6, 8, these people that are actively working and this location pops up again and they go, hey, the budgets are really slim. Again, I'm not sitting here to short sell the Poconos. I'm not, right? I believe the Poconos can be, we could sell incredible stuff here at the Poconos. So I'm not trying to short sell it. But from the sales side of things, to get the industry here, those things being able to leverage that and go, hey, right now, you don't got to worry about that $80,000 location fee. You don't got to worry about these, whatever it is. There is a cost associated with it, but that's for you guys to worry about and negotiate with the business owner or the landowner or whoever's handling it. That's not for me to step in. My goal is to just go, you need a location. This person wants to bring the film here to advertise their location. You two should probably meet and discuss. And then at the end of it, if you want us to mediate it, sure, whatever you want us to do and handle it. Right. But our goal is just to connect these people that have that random, we need a small drawbridge or covered bridge with a creek and a street on has to be a dirt road on one side, but a street on the other side. And you're like, what are we talking about here? But those specific locations, that goes a long way.
Absolutely it does. So, yeah. And that's kind of the overarching goal here is to know the destination, know what's within these 4 counties here, and be able to, share that with people who want to utilize that as setting for something that can then be seen by possibly millions of people and associated with, this piece of art, this, really interesting, iconic thing, right? Like I can remember growing up in Honesdale, and to go back to, Wet Hot American Summer. Yeah, man. I'd have to, because like, it's kind of amazing to think that a low budget film that was it is now a cult classic, was shot at a summer camp right outside Honesdale.
Shoestring budget.
David Wayne, and the producers.
Heavy hitters. Bradley Cooper was there.
Amy Poehler, Paul Rudd, Janine Garofalo, David Hyde Pierce. Yeah. Like, you can go on and on and on. Michael Showalter and what's his name?
Paul Rudd. Did you say Paul Rudd?
Yeah, Paul Rudd. Christopher Maloney,
Oh, yeah.
Law and Order. So all of those actors were staying in the Poconos for a summer or part of a summer, and they shot this film that has now kind of gone into this cult classic kind of mode. And they even had the Netflix series redone. Yeah, that wasn't shot here. But at the same time, you can like look back on that and just say, hey, that thing has everlasting ability to say, this is a summer camp, even though I think it's set in Maine, I believe. But it is a summer camp in the Poconos.
But it's incredible that you said that. Like, it takes place where? In Maine.
Right.
Here in the Poconos.
Yeah.
That's something. There was a movie that came out, I think it's about the town of Bethlehem, but it was shot in Canada. And it was like I don't quote me on it, but I remember reading articles about it. And then I think his name was Daniel Roebuck, actually shot a Christmas movie in Bethlehem last year or 2022. But that whole concept of going to other locations to film about another location, there's something about that I just go, what? Like, why can't you shoot for example, in this instance, why can't you shoot in Bethlehem? And because there's no community, there's no infrastructure, there's nothing there for these people to go to. So they go, well, where else are we going to go? This could pass off as a Hallmark town, I guess, kind of. And we're in Canada. We already know there's a film program set up there. We know the rebates and things like that. I mean, granted, Canada, trying to compete with Canada, good luck. But like those aspects, like, yeah, we could have a Hallmark town and call it Bethlehem if we wanted to. Who cares? No one's going to say anything until the people in Bethlehem see it, and then they go, why not film it here?
Right.
Well, it's already too late. And I always relate it to the Rocky movie, right? And I feel like even in the conversation I've had with other film officers, even John and Chris, it's like something that constantly comes back and forth. Like, people plan vacations just to run up the stairs in Philadelphia. Yeah. Just to do that because of a movie that was filmed in the 90s or 80s. Yeah. Like, to show the impact of what a film has on a community is incredible. Why else do people go to LA and Hollywood? To see the Star Walk? Yeah. To see the theaters?
Hollywood
Hills, to see the infamous Hollywood sign. Like, and it's all tourism.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is why tourism and film tend to go hand in hand, because it's you're advertising an area in a creative way to have other people look at that and go, let's create stories. Another perfect example is Entourage. I've seen this.
I was in college at the time. Entourage was
you had a great time.
Yeah, it was something me and my roommates watched religiously.
But think about that, right?
Yeah.
And how many of you and your roommates were like, we're going to move to LA, me and my 4 dudes, and we're going to run Hollywood. Now, granted, it's kind of pieced to get Mark Wahlberg's story of breaking in a little bit here and there, and then it was fabricated, so on and so forth. But every person, this is my 8th time. Well, I love that show. That Californication. We could talk about these shows and film. David Duchovny, a big dude, massive Duchovny fan. It's kind of sickening. He would think it's like stalker vibe. It's sick. My wife goes, Ralph, you need to relax. I just think he's such a well-versed actor. And he just seems like a dope dude to hang out with and grab a beer with.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah. But something as simple as like Entourage, where you would go and then you're driving down Rodeo Drive and, I saw this there. Oh, better yet, I'm on Sunset Boulevard. Oh my God, that was there. Like, those things, Hollywood and LA have mastered that craft.
Yeah.
So now you can go anywhere in Hollywood and go, I've seen this, I've seen that place, Fast and the Furious movie, things like that, like the infamous house, like just things like that, that can be a staple here. And the community, I believe, is ready for it here. They just need someone to, kick their butts a little bit. Hey, like, let's just, we're not bringing freight liners and, every highway you drive down, there's a new factory going up. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So if that's happening, clearly there's infrastructure being built here. Yeah. Why not just try to find the positive, creative aspects of it? And, sure, if there's a warehouse being built here and this is being sold over there to buy another warehouse, all right, fine. Yeah. What's the positive? Let's at least make a kick-ass movie here, or 2 or 3 a year, showcasing this beautiful area. Yeah. So that people can also come here and enjoy their time here.
And their connection to
the area as well. No, there's just so many. and I feel like now I'm talking like a politician. The more and more I've been doing this, the more I realize like, wow, like I kind of get the passion behind politics of why, because there really truly is so much here for people to see and utilize. And it'd be a shame for a place like Connecticut or New York to benefit from the beauty of their area, and we don't get to benefit from that.
We've got the Delaware River, Lehigh Gorge. We've got
Lake Long Park.
I mean, we're looking at the lake right now, 52 miles of shoreline. So much opportunity exists there, not just for this recreational aspect and, this either second home or visitation, but also from an economic development standpoint too, right? Like
creating jobs, building it here. Right, Pittsburgh. And so I talked to Dawn Keyser. She's the executive director of Pittsburgh's film office. And she took that film office from nothing.
The big one from like Christopher Nolan.
Oh, massive. But she took it from nothing and built it to what it is today. So that she gets a lot of slack in the media, whatever it is. But like, again, I've never had and I'm sure other people would tell you differently, I never had anything. She's never done anything to me. The conversations we've had, she's been nothing but helpful. But what she's done there and the amount of jobs that she provided that community, 5,800, I believe it is.
That's
like I'm 50. Granted, it's Pittsburgh, right? So it's city, but 5,800 jobs. That's a pretty big. That's a big economy.
Absolutely.
For putting a camera on a tripod and building it that way. So maybe not 5,800, but 1,000. That's doable. 300 or 400 instead of the New Yorks and the Atlantas and the LAs picking the people out from this area. Why not just give these 300, 400 people that are very passionate about doing it the opportunity to do it here? Again, no brainer. I'm going to keep saying that. And if we ever do another podcast again, I'm sure I'm going to say that no brainer again. Like it's just everything about it seems like a no brainer.
Well, that's what I love about hearing that from you, because having grown up here and not just promoting this as a tourist destination, but being proud to even, just reside here. I'm serve on my local borough council as well. So I'm slightly a politician as well. But I just see that viability that this industry has here amidst other industries too that are, somewhat like low impact on the environment overall, but they feature this area so well. So I wish you nothing but luck here with the Poconos Film Office, the Film, Sports, and Entertainment Commission as well, because we've got great venues like Poconos Park, like Pocono Raceway, various other ones throughout like Penn's Peak, and even smaller ones like Harmony in the Woods and various other ones around here too. So it's really an exciting time to be in the Poconos. Is there any lasting thing you want to leave our listeners with here about the film office? And like, if you could get that one big fish that you catch, of course, multi-million-dollar film is one thing, but would you want like an indie, like hit that would like, Blue Valentine was shot here years and years ago, but, something that like really puts us on the map for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would it be?
I love reading scripts. I come from, even when working in LA, I worked at EFO Films, which they've changed their name since then. But I read scripts, like 5 scripts a day for like 6 months straight. So I like to believe I have a decent background of story. From the independent film side, I have a script that's in the making. Do I think... And that involves the Poconos, like it was written with the Poconos in mind. More my town in Broadheadsville and Salisbury area, but it's you go where you got to go. But I genuinely enjoy reading scripts, and even though it's not necessarily a film office's job to read a script, because we handle greenlit productions that are already done, the funding's there, they're at the location stage, right? But who's to say that an independent filmmaker that needs to find a way to raise $300,000, $400,000 to make their movie can't utilize us as a production partner, or utilize PTN as a production partner?
Sure.
Things like that, where the equipment's readily available. How do they utilize it? Where can they go? Things like that, without having to go and spend $40,000 on a camera, and there goes 1/8 of your budget. Things like that. Like, again, causing you to think economically and causing you to think realistically, right? Send me a script. How can we develop a script? Like, again, you have, I think I said this at the press conference. We have a racetrack with 17 different locations on the racetrack.
Yeah.
Come to me with a location that you can...
A tunnel, a legit tunnel.
A tunnel, subway tunnel.
Yeah.
So find me a script that involves a hospital, a race, and a subway city and we can find a way to film on one location.
Yeah.
Like things like that. And one thing too, for if you're an independent filmmaker out there, as I am too, an independent filmmaker. So this is coming not only from experience, but coming from conversations with producers and other directors that are really trying to break into this. Like, how do you get it done? What's the old saying? KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people right off the rip think, I'm going to make a $50 million film that has 87 locations, that has Leo as the protagonist, and take a step back and go, what do I have available at my fingertips that I can make? If I needed to make a movie for free, what can I do? And you sit back and go, okay, typically when you look at it, like think of a movie like Paranormal Activity that had a $12,000 budget that made $200 million in the box office, but a $12,000 budget. And what'd they do? 3 cameras in one house. Wow. So it's not about the equipment.
No.
It's about the story.
Yeah. Blair Witch, man. Blair Witch,
same thing.
I know those are like thriller and like,
that's why horror movies are the easiest to make.
They are, but at the same time, you have that ability, but now you also have like the location, and it's all packaged into one.
It's all packaged into one. Yeah. You're not worrying about 15 different spots. So write a script that has 5 or 6 locations that can easily be attained, because it's very easy to go to someone or the areas in the community, go to the Mount Airies, go to the places that have the money that can go, hey, I have a $300,000 film that takes place in these 5 areas. I want to put my crew in your hotel, but we're looking for funding. Point me in the right direction. Who can I talk to? What do I got to do? And I can promise you that they will look at that and go, you want to bring a movie here? How do we make it happen?
Absolutely.
So for those filmmakers out there that are trying to make it happen, one, if you want someone to read your script, I'd love to read your script, because I love reading scripts in general, because it keeps me creative. Again, I have my own script in development that I believe, again, this is the bias of me, that believes could put the Poconos on the map. But every single person that's a director will tell you the same thing.
You should be confident. Yeah.
So send me a script.
Yeah.
Ralph at PoconosFilmOffice.com. So don't feel like you can't. There it is. You're hearing this. Send
a connection.
There it is.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with it. Also, for those script writers out there, keep it simple, but write a story. Just write a story that you're passionate about. I don't have to understand it. Your mom doesn't have to understand it. Right. But if you get it and you're truly that passionate about it, whether it's a short film, whether it's a podcast, something of that aspect, it's just like, what can I do to get my message across, my vision across? If you can get that across, you're well on your way. But send me a script. I'd love to read. I love reading scripts. So send it my way.
Ralph is saying send all scripts to Ralph at PoconosFilmOffice.com.
I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot.
No, it's good.
I'm gonna wake up to like 1,000 emails like, read my script. Well, I am one human being though, people. So if that happens, and granted, great problem to have. Hey, but it's one of those things where, all right, I'll make a public statement going, hey guys, love the scripts, but I need a break. Like, give me a minute or so.
We'll just need the scalability after that. You'll need some interns, right?
Exactly. It's a good problem to have at that point. If I'm getting scripts like that, then why not? You know what I mean? So,
well, again, I wish you the best of luck here. Very passionate about seeing this area promoted in such a positive way. And so Poconos Film Office, check them out at the website, PoconosFilmOffice.com.
Yep.
And a lot of cool things that are going to come from this over the years to come, man. So we wish you the best, and thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
The Poconos Film Office, leveraging amazing Pocono locations like Pocono Raceway and more. Find out more at PoconosFilmOffice.com. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. We'll have a new episode each week, highlighting lots of the fun things you can experience while you're visiting the Poconos. Subscribe to Pocono Mountains Podcast and leave a review and or comment on whatever platform you listen.
It's the most fun you'll have all year.
It's the 162nd Wayne County Fair.
August 2nd through 10th, 9 days of fun for everyone.
There's 26 ride attractions and an awesome kiddie land with even more action.
$12 is all you pay to ride the rides all day.
See animals, exhibits, and daily music too.
There's truck pulls, magic shows, racing pigs, and dinosaurs to boot.
Pay one price, only $12. Nice.
August 2nd to 10th, the Wayne County Fair, Honesdale, PA.
Visit WayneCountyFair.com today.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm Jim Hamill. Now I'm going to hand things over to our summer intern here at PTN, Kala Sant, for a Pocono Mountains Podcast Extra. Kala?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kala Sant. Let's take a trip back in time and check out a segment Brianna Strunk did a few years ago at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater in Lehighton. The drive-in has brought entertainment to the Poconos since 1949. The theater's staff really keep it retro by using classic 1940s projectors and films produced on 35mm. Let's check it out.
We're all looking for new ways to enjoy the fresh open air here in the Pocono Mountains, and we have the perfect idea for you. You won't even have to leave your vehicle, or you could simply bring a few chairs, set up shop, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. From the ticket booth to the projectors, the popcorn machine to the screen, this place is your portal to the past.
It's just nice to see that this is like entering a little time capsule.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, the largest single-screen drive-in in the United States.
Every summer since 1949, retro films have radiated from this Lehighton farmland. Out of the nearly 300 drive-ins remaining in America, this is the only one still showing films exclusively on 35mm.
So if you were coming here as a kid through the 50s, 60s, 70s, it's exactly like you remember it.
Tonight's feature, Monster Squad.
It was a big hit when we were growing up. It's been my favorite movie for about 30 years.
Okay, awesome.
Starring actor Andre Gower even came to meet fans, take pictures, and sign autographs.
I love stuff like this because you don't get more local, you don't get more connected with fans than in something like this.
Bringing in film stars, having fans dress up, and decorating the lot. It's all part of the Mahoning experience for all ages.
We are known to be like the alternative drive-in. We show a lot of horror stuff, a lot of off the beaten path stuff. But the stuff that's right on the nose for the families, that's the stuff that I might love the most.
In 2017, the Mahoning propelled into international spotlight after its story was featured in a documentary called At the Drive-In, which is available on major streaming services. Now, people travel from all over the country to Little Lehighton.
The fact that people pass dozens of drive-ins to get to this one is truly magical.
But the Mahoning wasn't always this successful. At one time, even struggled to survive.
It's like, oh, the Mahoning's there, but people weren't coming to support it. So it was really in danger there of even being able to pay its bills.
Then, in 2014, the drive-in reached a pivotal point. Movie studios decided to no longer produce 35mm film, meaning the Mahoning would have to make the costly conversion to digital. Their risky response? Go full retro.
We stuck to our guns. The industry said, you're insane. You're going to be out of business in a year. Now, after 5 years, we've become a legend in the industry. We've kind of proven them wrong.
The Mahoning works with a network of private collectors and university libraries to obtain 35mm films, but it can be a challenge since the prints are fragile, and many that still exist are damaged beyond repair.
So it's definitely difficult because you're shipping these humongous reels across the country sometimes, which isn't cheap. You're doing licensing for titles that sometimes have not been shown on the screen for years.
But the risk brings reward. The Mahoning found its niche.
To go from 5-car nights to regular sellouts is certainly not lost on us.
Kids, and kids at heart, are invited to take a peek at these rare 1947 projectors, which have operated since the Mahoning opened.
I love it. I will be back.
And no matter what challenges the Mahoning may face, one thing is certain, the show must go on. For Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
The Mahoning Drive-In Theater. Find out more at mahoningdit.com. We hope you enjoyed Pocono Mountains podcast. For Kala, this is your host, Jim Hamill. Please remember to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Plan your trip today.